Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome to another recording. Today we are going to make let's call it a walkthrough on the skill tree add-on here again in HEX Rust. So, well, Rust features a lot of ways for playing the game. You can go around hitting trees, smashing rocks, shooting people, or whoever appears in your crosshairs. So what do we specialize on? It may be kind of overwhelming if you want to range something from smashing a tree, a rock, or a barrel to going to someone else's home and blowing it up without any kind of of pity for those unfortunate enough to be attacked by you, but there's quite a lot of things to do in the end. So I'm going to talk about the skills we have available with this add-on. Espera un momento. I have to move my own face because I was covering the underwater raiding and team skill trees, which I can't, let's say I can't analyze those ones way too further because I wouldn't play most of the skills they have. The raiding one is kind of interesting though. So I'll start first with the farming abilities, which could be mining and wood cutting. You see that I have already spent some points. I'm level 48. You can level up to 100 then you can unlock a prestige, which I already did. You see this pickaxe, the prestige miner and the prestige woodcutter. So what do we have here? At first you will see some perks which consist of output improvements. You can see the prestige is the first one. I'm an idiot. Estoy idiota, no. This is covering again either the text or the skill trees. I'll cover the buff information somewhat. So you can see the brief description, and to start with, whenever we want to go the miner route, we have one key tool which could be the jackhammer. You can use the salvage axe, any kind of pickaxe, but in the end they prove quite underwhelming. In order to do a, let's call optimize the route of resource farming. So at first let's ignore this perk at all. I have it because I managed to reach the level 100 and then call for the prestige, but let's ignore it. So in the beginning we have quite just 5 or so points to spend. The miners will maybe want to go for both the stroke of luck or the amateur miner. These three, the amateur miner, added miner and expert miner, improve your output in growing percentages, all with a maximum level of 5. All the perks in this tree, aside from the prestige miner and the ultimate, have up to 5 points to allocate. Ultimate and prestige need just 1. Notice the jackhammer bonus yield modifier with a 25% penalty. Even with this, jackhammer still ranks over any other mining tool, mostly because of the speed, and you can avoid getting the efficient miner perk. Spending 1 skill point less in a tree, which may end being unnecessary, especially when you want other points, is quite a lot, even if it's just 1 point when you can spend around 200. So in the beginning we just improve our output. This is mandatory. All these 3 are mandatory for a, let's call it, proficient mining tree. This skill gives you a 5% chance, up to a 25, to spawn a new node after a node is destroyed. This is a kind of cool one. So let's test it. It won't happen and suddenly you can mine 5 rocks in a row. So let's destroy this. Didn't happen. I'm going to spend like a half an hour to find a single rock that respawns. And then, when I just cut the recording, one single rock will reappear 5 times in a row. It is just statistics. And Murphy's Law. If you are going to be unlucky, you will be unlucky. You can see the output on the left side, on the right side of the screen. Well, let's ignore it. I'll keep talking about the skills. These two ones are mandatory. Whenever you spend 5 points, you unlock this part of the skill tree, the middle one. With 10 points you unlock the lower one, and the ultimate requires 25 points. In this part of the skill tree we unlock only the Adept Miner skill. It is your mandatory one. Instantly mining the nodes. Now I remember why I was mining some random nodes on the map. Because we are going to prove something. A rock takes 15 jackhammer hits, or 14 to destroy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You can see the output down here with a brief 11,000 stones. And there is a perk, which is this one, instant mining, that says you will instantly mine out a node on hit. So if you mine out the node in the first hit, you will ignore all of this process, skipping a lot of output in the end, which turns out makes this perk a must avoid one. Don't use an instant mining node. Also works on Bradleys and helicopter hulls. In that end it may be useful, because Bradley hulls and helicopter hulls have quite a lot of hit points, but it shouldn't take a lot of time. But the single stone has respawned. What is happening? The final hit yields around a quarter or 30% of the whole node output. So imagine you have just 30% of the node value. You may save a lot of time, but you will also skip a lot of resources going your way. Mining luck. I haven't even bothered to test this one. Its description yells, do not play this. I mean, you want to farm stone, farm sulfur, farm metal. You don't want random things popping in your inventory whenever you don't want them. Efficient miner, this one is also skippable if you play Jackhammer, which you should do. Anyways, you should play Jackhammer, but if you don't, you may try this one. So you don't have to spin around the rock trying to find the critical hit spot. This is the last output improvement, all 5 points here. Refiner, this may be interesting, and in fact it's kinda nice. But you see, for example, whenever you want to try the quests, you see in the upper left corner, whenever you mine out a metal ore or a sulfur ore and you want to keep the progress for all your quests, if you instantly refine the nodes you're mining, that means you haven't mined, for example, a metal piece. You found a metal fragment. You don't loot the ore in the first place. So your quest counter won't get the raise of what you're mining. So in the end, if you're going to make these quests, avoid the instant refining mode, because it will be slowing your progress towards a lot of experience. And in the final place, we are going to get the robust pickaxe. With 4 points should be enough, so we can unlock these 3. You can see 26 points. All these points add to 25, so we can unlock this one. This skill allows you to locate nodes within a 200 meters radius. If we write the command, you can see stone, 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 metal, no sulfur nodes. Shame on me and my unluckiness. This has around a minute cooldown. You can see it down there in the chat if you write the node manually. Let's run to this one. Take into account that the nodes you mine don't disappear from the locate nodes command. So it may be sometimes misleading if someone else is farming close to your position, and you may see a lot of nodes around. You fly by or walk by or whatever, and sometimes when you arrive there's nothing at all. So it is recommended to switch in and out your mining tool so you get to see what is happening. Next, the wood cutting tree. Let's ignore again the prestige point, which always goes in. The wood cutting skill tree may be open to debate. We can either use the chainsaw or the sickle. There's not much more options. We could use the salvage axe, but feels slow, a very slow tool. For example, try not to miss your hits if you're going to play the sickle. Sickle advantages: you don't have to activate it like the chainsaw. It has no rev up time and it doesn't need a reload. Chainsaw advantages: bzzz, speed. You should almost instantly chop down the trees. Also, the sickle has a small amount of waste, but the chainsaw has a nice amount of output nerfs, as you can see here. So in the end, it's up to you and your choice. Still, I would like to point that when you make the farming quests, be it the middle level or the big level ones, having to pull out the chainsaw, loading it, revving it up, and then chopping a couple of trees, then switch to the jackhammer, mine some nodes, then back to the chainsaw, chop some trees, may end making you lose a lot of valuable time if you have to rev up the chainsaw up to 3 times for it to get started. It's kind of uncomfortable to use. So the skill tree as is. Again, improvement of your output, mandatory as always. In fact, in the first branch of the tree, you only have to spend points here because there are no other perks available. You unlock this row. So let's check it. The wood cutting yield, all 5 points here. Instant wood cutting, a major difference with mining. You want to instantly mine trees because you will notice it synergizes quite well with the ultimate, which allows you to cut trees in an area. So up to a 25% chance to chop down a tree in a single hit. We don't want to get some random items in your inventory, so avoid this one. And I don't play this one, but it may be useful, I don't know. Sometimes you chop a tree in a single hit, so it may end up being useless. Expert wood cutter, 5 points. Charcoal obtaining whenever I chop a tree may end up being useful if you want to farm some charcoal and use it with your sulfur if you're a massive sulfur farmer. Most likely, whoever makes use of explosive will love you a lot. And in this server we have the purge event whenever the wipe is coming. The day before wipe there is a purge, and the purge demands a lot of explosive, like 20 crates of C4 and 40 crates value of rockets or something like that. It is quite a lot. So in the end, charcoal is very useful. Still, I don't get it. I prefer burning trees, your logs alone. Chop tree response, quite self-explaining, and of course mandatory. This one I should have spent some points too. I forgot to do so. You can see there's more points in the end. I should spend like 21 or 22 points in the woodcutting skill tree and the ultimate. This is quite fun. You go here, slap a tree. Again, 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 again. And some trees go down. It is, for me at least, quite satisfactory. You do this, you do this, you do this. And this is the reason why that makes King of the Forest ask you for 1 billion wood cut down. Because you do this, snap the tree. Without modifiers like the super serum or some farming teas, and you get 50,000 tree logs almost in a single hit. It is quite common. In fact, whenever it is the night time, it is somewhat easy to get a 6 times multiplier in the wood output and do this and get a full single stack of wood, which is half a million wood worth in a single hit. Sometimes this happens and you have to more or less chop down the tree in a normal way. And there goes. The node has respawned finally. It happens sometimes like once in an hour, and then all nodes you mine get double or triple or even more. So in the end, this is the general look on the farmer's route. The scanning tree is one I would entirely skip because I don't play in this style, so I can't analyze it quite much. Still, you can get a lot of leather and cloth worth of the animals, but I don't know how to use it. And I don't know the temporary buffs of this, so I can't tell you much about. So now on the harvester route, these two, I'd say they're fit on a more gatherer-like. You can get a lot of planters in your home, either big or small ones. Small ones fit three crops, and big ones fit 9 crops inside. You have to install a lot of things: light, a proper soil, temperature, and of course water. So in the end, whatever you get out in the wild, extra amounts, random mushrooms, random hemps, pumpkins, whatever you imagine, gets extra. It's nice. I don't know how to fish in this game, so I can't tell you about fishing. I just don't know. And I don't know if this wild harvesting should be useful when in the end you'll be stuck at home for a couple of minutes, more or less, that takes getting all plants in your house and replanting again with these 2 perks. I don't know if the pouch is useful. I'd say that it doesn't look so. Also with the fishing, I'd say that just no. There is someone that knows more than me about this, so I may have to ask about this. And in the end, this botanist, these rocks cool down once every half a day. But this says you get a god roll plant it, clone it, plant, clone, and you can get a perfect farm. Not with that doesn't demand quite a lot of time, and of course you get to skip the crossbreed, which is kinda nice. This is an all-purpose tree, the medical one. Has a lot of benefits in different areas. Still, I would not play the bandage expert. Bandages take time to use, And considering the amounts of loot in this server, you will most likely swim in a pool full of medkits. So let's skip bandages entirely. Less radiation damage. There are a couple of bosses that do a lot of radiation damage, and some places that you may want to go inside while also being low on radiation protection. So in the end, oh mierda, un helicóptero. I may have to flee this place or get myself killed. I don't know. It's so nice that this song pops in when I'm maybe about to face a helicopter. It goes away. It seems the vanilla helicopter, and of course it looks unclaimed, otherwise it would be chasing someone like crazy. So I can keep talking to you. I was on the bosses dealing huge amounts of radiation damage, and maybe some places that are heavily radiated. This may be useful. I don't play this because I usually don't farm much bosses and don't go to heavy radiation places. It depends. If you do any of those tasks, get this perk. Revitalization, a must have. I mean, I walk around and I heal, just like that. Free healing. Half a point per second. This is just good. Fire damage resistance. Not much enemies do fire damage, and if I recall correctly, the helicopter has lost its fire rockets, but again, there are a couple bosses that attack with fire. At least Clown does. Clown is a boss in this server from a boss add-on, and the man shoots fire from a shotgun, and it may be helpful against fire bullets on PvP. I don't play it, but again, it's up to you. Accident evasion. This skill will reduce fall damage by 5% per level, and this one is the following skill that does the same effect, up to 100% fall damage reduction, so you can do this. Oh, my leg is broken and I have lost not a single health point. So, this is quite good because you can do this. I'm wearing a jetpack, which is another key component of this server for quick displacement, and I may have slapped my face in front of a tree. And let's crash. I should be dead. If you crash against something on the jetpack, you will get a massive amount of damage, and with this pack you just avoid it entirely. You can't fly like a madman, and nothing harmful will happen to you. This will heal a down player when revived for 10% of the health per level. I usually don't use this. It is somewhat weird to find the co-op situations where you have to revive a downed player, because most likely they will outright die. If fighting a tank or a helicopter, unless they bleed out, which is something that hardly ever happens, they will outright die and you won't get to revive anyone. And a base rotation resistance may be helpful, just like this perk. I haven't played it, but again, it falls into the same explanation. I also usually play this skill. I lack points. Being low level happens. But cold, being unable to fuck you around is just great. I have explained this one already. No fall damage is more fun than having full damage and dying randomly because you missed some nice piloting, and instead of cleanly flying like this, you go like a madman and shit, I have slapped myself against a tree and again and again and again, and now I dead. You don't have to worry about those happy little accidents. I haven't tested this one enough, but feels kinda random to spend 5 points on this. It usually doesn't happen too much. I mean, Messiah is the ultimate of this tree, which has a 55% chance, which is a lot, more than half the times, and it usually misses. Kinda frustrating. which I may add, don't play this ultimate. I don't like it. I would not recommend. 1 out of 10 would not recommend. Fresh spawn, your starting health is 100. I would not use it either. And this makes your clothes, like these two other perks, provide more radiation resistance. Again, it falls into the same explanation. So, with medical skill tree, it is all okay. Combat, another major area of this game. Be it either PvP or some events that require having you shoot people down. Be it animals, by tanking them better. Some melee crazy bastard that chases you around with a big sword. Or just by making your items wear out in a slower pace. I swear, having this with 15 points and up to a 75% durability loss, it's broken. Broken. I mean, you can get a jackhammer or the sickle doing this. You see that it is losing health right now, the jackhammer. Imagine that you do this for an hour mining nodes. The jackhammer doesn't lose a single health point. Why? Because maintenance, robust pickaxe, and robust stacks stack. So this talent, this perk, is a must-have again. This one may be nice to fight NPCs. I don't know if a scientist is any kind of hostile human NPC, but it works, and it's somewhat fun. 2% chance to not use a bullet when you fire. Only applies to bullet-like weapons. Don't imagine a rocket launcher working like this, because it doesn't. Just the things like the M2, the AK, pistols, shotguns, anything like that will work. Oh shit. Se me ha ido el dedo. It may work. I usually play it. I would recommend it. It takes longer for you to reload. Maybe those 2 or 3 bullets save you from a tough situation. Oh, I misexplained this one. This is taking less damage. This one was the one that increases your damage. Anyway, I usually play this one, and sometimes I get this one too. These 3 are PvP ones. I usually don't PvP, so you may imagine what I'm about to say. That is, I can't explain these ones too much. But whenever you PvP, these ones seem to rock. Especially because you get to use this ultimate, which more or less works. You won't get to heal too much, but usually those 5 or 6 points you will heal while killing someone will end up being a key difference. That indicates whenever, will you die or will you survive? Maybe those 5 or 6 hit points are the difference. Another key aspect of Rust: crafting. Crafting! What is this? What do I do while crafting? Usually some things take a lot of time unless there is a workbench around. And still, I mean, do I want to take 30 seconds to craft a single explosive item? Lame. Boring. Too long. I don't want to spend half a minute to craft a single explosive when a rocket takes 10 of those items. I don't want. 5 minutes to craft a single rocket? Are you crazy? I hope you don't say this serious. That's why these points are so important. And I'll explain why later, because I don't have enough points to allocate this, but in the end, amateur tinkerer, adept tinkerer, and expert tinkerer stack up to 100% increase, which means you will effectively be able to instantly craft any item in the game. So these ones are mandatory, up for 20 points of the skill tree. This skill, Thrifty Renovator, a chance to get your building materials back whenever you upgrade. Useless. Like that. Don't get this. I mean, without many modifiers, you just slap a tree down and get how many logs? 5,000? Without considering the skill tree augments and the super T's. And I do this. And boom. 130,000 trees in my inventory. With 130k, you may end being able to build almost anything you think about. I don't think a house, at least for a solo player, spends that much. So don't get this. Primitive weapons lose no durability. Primitive weapons lose no durability. So, if I said 50 Renovator was useless, what do we say about this one? I mean, give me back my skill tree point. You don't deserve to exist. Just like that. 50 Tinkerer is a weird perk, because just like it's written, you may end up imagining that whenever you craft an item, get something back. And there are some materials that will return to your inventory and some materials that don't. Still, this is a quite useful ability to use whenever you want to massively craft items. So in the end, get it. It's cool. Scrap bag when searching. Just to explain why I find this perk useless, there is a prestige in this server that allows you to have permanently logged blueprints even after wipes. And if I go to a barrel, which there are some around here, farming scrap is quite easy here. Oh mierda, zombies. Ay, 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 ay. Look how this man loves being hands. ¿A dónde vas, imbécil? This man comes and tries to kill me with a fucking chainsaw? Are you nuts? So, as I was saying, let's go find a barrel to scrap pieces. This barrel has made a fool of me. Oh mierda, qué ridículo. Bueno, doesn't matter. In the end, you'll be swimming on scrap also. If it isn't because of raw scrap findings, it will be because you find some items that, when you recycle them, drop a lot of scrap. 5 semi-automatic weapon bodies, 90 pieces of scrap. So in the end, that crate has given me more than 100 scrap, all just by doing this: sweep the H key, grab loot, leave. And this happens quite quickly and quite frequently. I mean, I took a second to loot that crate, drop everything I didn't need, leave. A ver. Vale, aquí. Blast Furnace may be useful whenever you want to smelt materials, but still I would not play it. I don't find it to be useful, so this one is very open to debate. Aircraft. I should get one item, but sometimes instead of one I get two. You get a freebie. This one is nice. Get it. This skill will reset the durability of items to the max whenever you repair. You can see that the sickle and the jackhammers are somewhat damaged. That doesn't happen when you have the blacksmith expert. You don't have a permanent damage to your aims, which is kind of cool. And the last one makes you turns you into a person who can swipe a green card into a red door and have the red door open. I mean, this one makes me laugh a lot because the scene seems kind of absurd. Who are you? Why are you using a green card here? This is a red door. And you just go around like, open. Bitch. open, and the door opens. Just like that. Why? I have this perk. This is an ultimate level perk. Which was the movie that said the multipass? I forgot the name. Bad memories. Not good. I have talked about farming, fighting, and somewhat a small amount of scavenging. Although I haven't put the name on it. Also crafting. This one is a very weird skill tree. I have fun with it. The first and most important part is being able to smash a barrel where no matter what you hit the barrel with, the barrel just dies. Also this one. If a barrel gets destroyed, whatever it drops goes straight to your inventory. Nice. I don't have to go around finding, and maybe if some item is, let's say, hidden on the floor, it won't be anymore because it is in my bags. I would not play this. In the end, you get a lot of scrap from the items you loot, and it's much better spending these points in getting an instant item magnet and also opening these parts of the tree. I will explain why. I don't know how to dig in this game, so I'll skip both the digger and the magnetic digger perks because they are about digging, obviously. Lucky Looter. This skill gives you a 5% chance per level to find extra scrap in a crate. Not bad, it usually gives a nice amount. I mean, you get 10 scrap and suddenly instead of 10 there are 30 pieces. Not bad, but just a filler perk to open these ones. You will destroy a barrel and suddenly electronic devices are appearing in your inventory. Imagine, for example, some items that drop tech trash, like the laptops. Laptops drop quite a lot of useful items. Metal frags, tech trash, high quality metals. And this is the best, most likely the best time saver in the whole server and the game, which at max turns the recyclers into instant machines of useless items death. You drop a stack of bullets and in less than 1 second all those useless bullets you don't want are gone. Again, a must have in the scavenging. And this, I have tested this one and I don't quite like it because it feels like it worsens the barrel's loot, so I would not play this. It is weird, just weird, not good. Vehicles. Let me start with this tree by just saying this. I would not get a single point of this tree in my common playstyle. But maybe it is useful for you to have your horse ride faster. Much faster. I mean 3 times the base horse speed at full speed is flying around the screen. Instead of riding a horse, you would be riding Sonic the Hedgehog. I haven't tested this one, and spending less fuel to use any machine more or less is always good. Even more if it is the helicopter which I currently fly. Attack helicopter is great to fight goose tanks. Any kind of Bradley, but being the goose the biggest one and the most dangerous, it usually feels more secure doing it in a helicopter than in a up place or in the jetpack and shooting it manually. I haven't almost played bikes, being the bikes or the motorbikes, didn't like them, and you will need this if you ride any of those machines, because a small crash with a tree will end up with you dead. It is kinda dangerous, and I don't agree with it being a perk that requires 5 points in the skill tree. I would put it up here as an already unlocked one, being its key to allowing the playstyle of some vehicles to be secure It is the bikes, being the base bikes and the motorbikes. I find the driving of those machines is kind of buggy because any dump anything on the road will end making you crash into something, and boom, you're dead. Your body flies around, and go find it. Go find it, champ. Repairing your helicopter without any cost. It usually costs just metal frags. You don't need this. And the lift fraction, I don't know what to think about this one. I haven't the spec on it, but there is something true. In this server, whenever you are being shot with anything on the attack helicopter, you won't take damage. Unless it is a sunside missile. You will take damage. Your helicopter will take damage of those. So you may have a use for this whenever you go farm trains or pilot around the place that has mounted SAM sites that start shooting at you like crazy. Consider it and adapt your playstyle to the SAM sites whenever you fly an attack helicopter. Cooking. This synergizes quite well with farmer perks, mostly because your teas will last more. Or maybe the food you eat gives you more calories and more water to your health bar. You don't need this because there is quite a lot of food that is safe to eat. I mean, the dangerous to eat foods is non-cooked meat, and if I recall correctly, any kind of human meat, which you will never eat. I mean, the game has plenty of options for safe food to eat without many efforts, so avoid this one. Calories and hydration bar gets increased. This may be useful because some bosses attack directly to your calories and hydration bar, but I would not play it. This one is another useless perk, do not play it. The teas dropped are base level ones, and more or less it almost does not happen. A whole wipe with this and I looted less than 10 basic teas. A mid-level tea requires 4 base ones, and a max level tea requires 4 level mid teas. Not good. Another top level perk. 10% chance for another something you eat or drink and it doesn't get used. You see this? The super tea. Imagine you drink it and it suddenly returns to your inventory. It is great and has such a nice chance, up to a 50%. And this is good. Decent ultimate that gives you an hour worth time of all teas in the game at base level. A good one, even though I would not use it, but still it's cool. On the underwater skill tree, I would just use guild because I don't play underwater at all. The game feels quite interesting while working on land, so I have not seen a single shark yet. That wasn't bugged. I saw a shark, but it was bugged and floating on the ground. It was kind of fun to see. So with these two, you are immune to sharks. You can skin them and it seems that you would get some interesting items, but still I would not play these kind of perks. They seem like a waste. You want something, go find it wherever it drops instead of relying on some random 10% chance of it to happen. Not cool. Underwater objects on a huge radius may seem cool. Another extra items chance. I broke my legs again. Anti-underwater crates. I don't know if the combat knife allowed you to do this. And this is weird because you usually, if I recall correctly, you can't fire guns on water, so it would apply to any kind of melee weapon and maybe the bows. I don't recall it correctly. I'll leave the rating 3 for the last one. I would skip entirely the team skill trees, but still there are interesting points. Just like not too long ago I was playing entirely solo, and I don't find that sharing calories or comfort, which usually only happens when you're at home, healing may be useful, T bonuses and experience, it just seems quite unlikely to be what we would call useful. It requires a lot of points. It's very demanding. Skip entirely. So whenever we raid a house, one of the main threats will be the traps in the servers, because the houses, even the easiest ones, spawn full of those things, be it fully automated turrets, shotgun traps, or even landmines. A single high-speed rocket should be enough for dealing with everything that isn't an auto turret. And I don't know if this can help with this, but I would not play it when I can play the other part. That makes me tank a lot more from traps, up to tanking free half the damage the traps do. This is great. I mean, you get a turret with a bolty shoot at you, you lose 80 health points, and if you make the same mistake again, you're dead. If you have more room to make mistakes, the perk that gives you that room is a must take. So trap evade for the win. All 10 points go here. Maybe this one is useful. I mean, if you fuck up and damage yourself with the explosive, most likely you will die. Most likely. Maybe this prevents it. I haven't tested it long enough. Dot explosives, bean cans and satchels. You don't want to raid with those. So you also don't want to play with this perk. This may be a low chance, but just like resourceful, this is useful, very useful. If a rocket you fire detonates twice, that's twice the damage for free. And even better, this works with Bradleys and Helis, but if you manage to hit a helicopter with a high velocity rocket, you are a fucking hero at this game and you have nothing else to beat. Explosive get extra radius. Cool one, for me at least. I don't know how this will affect the playstyle, but seems kinda sketchy to get inside the house just picking locks. If it doesn't work, you wait 15 seconds, try to pick the lock again, maybe. And a chance per level to see nearby traps. I haven't found the use for this because I just brute force any house I raid. But if you want something more subtle and waste less resources, this perk may be for you. And the last one is raining 18 MLRS rockets, which do massive damage to anything they touch. And if I recall correctly, in the player versus environment game mode, those rockets are indestructible. Not you, but the rockets. So rain them over a house, the house disappears, profit. And that should be all around the skill tree. Thank you for watching, because this will be a long video. And have a nice day. See ya. And as I usually say, but this is in Spanish, comed mucho, cagad fuerte y no temáis a la muerte. Eat a lot, pop strong, never fear death. See ya.